What's happening, y'all? I'm going to go through a couple of the problems that were assigned by Miss Willis, and then y'all will be asked to complete some additional problems related to this. So it looks like one of the questions that she asked y'all to complete had to do with the slope-intercept form. It looks like that was the main skill y'all were working on. I happen to love the slope-intercept form because it's all about y equals mx plus b. And everything works together around that. So it's kind of like a puzzle, and it can be super frustrating. But again, I'm going to walk you through a couple of examples, and hopefully you'll feel a little bit better about it when you leave. So it looks like the first question right here asks us, what is the y-intercept of y equals 5x minus 1? All right, so the slope-intercept form, it always is exactly this, and it is y equals mx plus b. All right, and once we figure out what m and b are, we can start to feel a little bit more comfortable about this. So m is your slope, which equals your rise over your run. All right, and b is your y-intercept. All right, so that's going to be where your graph crosses the y-axis. And if we think about a coordinate plane here, we've got our x-axis and our y-axis. All right, so let's just say, for example, that we've got a line that goes like this right here. All right, so we've got our arrows there. So our y-axis is going to be where our graph crosses the y-intercept. All right? So it looks like this equation right here is already written in the form y equals mx plus b, because it is y. I'm going to actually write it under right here, y, oops, sorry guys, y equals 5x minus 1, all right? So you can see that our slope is 5, and our y-intercept, it looks like it would be 1, but it's actually a negative 1, all right? So if we think about where this is going to cross our graph, we got our x-intercept and our y-intercept. This is going to cross at negative 1. If this is negative 1, that's where our y-intercept's going to be. And it looks like our slope is 5. But wait a minute, I thought slope was rise over run, which tells me it should be some sort of a fraction. Remember, if you have a whole number for your slope, you can always just put that over 1. So our rise over run in this situation, so our slope would be 5 over 1, which indicates our rise over run. All right? So in order to draw our graph, if we wanted to do that, I know that you haven't been asked to do that, but if you wanted to do that, you would just go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you'd go over 1, put a dot, and you'd be able to draw your graph there. Not a very good graph. It's not actually touching the dots, but you get the picture. All right? So that's one of our problems. Let's go through one more problem here that looks a little bit different, but it's asking the same type of information. This one's asking us to complete the equation of the line whose slope is negative 2 and y-intercept is 0, negative 8. What I love about math is you always have options for how you do things. I have not been in Miss Willis's classroom, or for some of you who have Miss Thiemann, or whatever teacher you had for pre-algebra. Teachers teach this differently. I'm an old guy, so we learned how to do this way back in the day differently than they're being taught now. So I'm going to show you the way I know it. What's great is that if you don't understand the way I'm teaching it to you, you can access dozens and dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of videos on YouTube that explain this. All right, so I know that I'm always trying to, well, it's asking me for the equation, which tells me I'm going to end up with something that is y equals x plus b. All right, so I need to plug that information in. So what do I know? What is the problem telling me? Well, it's telling me the slope is -2. So we know that slope is -2. All right, and then it's also telling me that the y-intercept is 0, -8. When I'm looking at this coordinate, as with all coordinates, the first number corresponds to the x value, and the second coordinate, the second number corresponds to the y value. So it's basically telling me that if I have a coordinate plane here where this got my x-axis and my y-axis, the y-intercept is 0, -8. All right, so -8. So this, the problem tells me my answer, which is great because it tells me, again, that m equals -2 and b equals -8. So using that information, I can go ahead and plug this stuff into my y equals mx plus b. All right, so y is going to equal m, which is -2x, plus b. I could do a plus a -8 because my b is -8, but we don't actually do it like that. We're going to say that y equals, my negative there wasn't very good, a -2x minus 8. All right, so that is the equation of our line. All right, so these are a couple examples from the problems that were assigned to y'all by Miss Willis. Hope this is helpful. We'll be back in another week or so with some more examples for you guys. If y'all could go ahead and complete the problem set, that would be great. Have a great weekend.